the delay here. Both Bray and I have had some scheduling conflicts, but right now, as of now, welcome to the fourth episode of the FilmBrony podcast, where two bronies talk about all things movies and whatnot. This this episode, we're going to talk about our Blu-ray pickups, the uh, the 92nd Academy Award wins, our top 10 favorite movies of 2019, and why the Golden Raspberries are an absolute joke nowadays. Anything to say?
Oh, yes. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FilmBrony Broadcast. I'm Smart 3, and what we're going to do is, oh, wait, everything's already been discussed. Oh, well, all right, shall we get this whole thing started?
All right, let's start with our Blu-ray pickups. So how many do you have?
Once again, only one.
All right, why don't we start with yours then?
All right. My Blu-ray here is a movie that came out last year, and it's one of my favorite movies of last year, Joker.
I got it as well.
Oh, sweet. Yes. Joaquin Phoenix gives us what I think his best performance since The Master, and he rightfully won this Oscar. And the movie as a whole is so engaging from beginning to end. There is not a single dull moment. It is so beautifully paced. It is very dark and unsettling. And it's what I want out of a Joker movie. There's nothing more I want out of a Joker movie. It feels dark and unsettling, especially the music. The score by Hilder, I can't pronounce her name. She deserved that Oscar. She gave the best score of the year. Her score helps make the movie feel unsettling, makes you feel cold. I love it so much.
Yeah, what he said pretty much nails it. I don't think I can add any more. So that's Joker right there. All right. As for the rest of my Blu-rays, speaking of Oscar-winning films starring Joaquin Phoenix, I haven't seen this movie yet, but I've heard terrific things about it, and that is Spike Jonze's Her.
That is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it is one of my favorite romance movies, and it's one of Joaquin Phoenix's best performances. Um, it's a movie that takes place in the future, and I just love the use of red lighting in the movie. It is absolutely beautiful. And for a movie about human and an AI, well, an AI voice, Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson share some of the best chemistry I've ever seen in a movie.
All right, I'll check it out someday. Next Blu-ray I have here is I got it in the light of its recent Oscar win, and that is Bong Joon-ho's Parasite.
I still haven't seen Parasite.
I found a pretty captivating social commentary on class relations with some terrific performances and stellar direction from Bong Joon-ho, as well as some good cinematography and production design. I can't really say much without really spoiling it, but all I can say is it really gets crazy by the time the second half rolls around.
That's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing is a crazy movie.
All right, which one do I pick?
I have just in case I have not seen any trailers and I have not read the plot synopsis. I figured it's one of those movies where I'm not supposed to do any of those things.
Yeah, pretty much. And speaking of Best Picture winners, I have last year's Best Picture winner. I haven't seen it yet. Green Book.
Okay, Green Book is a really good movie. It's definitely an improvement over the Farley's, latest movies, and pretty much every single one of their latest movies. But Best Picture, no. Over Roma, over Black Panther, over Black Klansman, over A Star Is Born.
Yeah, it's pretty much this generation's Driving Miss Daisy, not just in the concept, but by its our Oscar win.
Yeah, it's pretty much like it's just like a a safe movie. It was a safe movie. Okay, as a movie by itself, ignoring it as a Best Picture winner, I thought I thought it was a really I thought it was an interesting movie. It had some funny humor in it, as I expect from one of the Farley brothers. Except this is not over the top humor like Dumb and Dumber and there's something about Mary. This is more like a lighthearted comedy. And Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen have terrific chemistry together. Um, I'll say this: I think this is a much more deserving Oscar for Mahershala Ali than Moonlight. No offense, he's great Moonlight, but I feel like if I had to pick between the two, which he really deserved the Oscar, I think as here more so than Moonlight, because in Moonlight he's only like the first 30 minutes of Moonlight.
Yeah, he was.
But even then, I wouldn't give him the Oscar over Sam Elliott
I'd
or
say
Richard E. Grant
I'd say Adam Driver, but I still have yet to see Black Klansman.
Why would you pick Adam Driver?
Like I said, I haven't seen Black Klansman, so I can't really judge.
Right. So why would you pick Adam Driver? So why would you pick Adam Driver if you haven't seen Black Klansman?
I know. I hear he's because I hear he's terrific in it.
Yeah, but you've seen the other Best Supporting Actors, right?
I've seen Stars Born with Sam Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, on to my next Blu-ray. Next Blu-ray I have here is one of the best superhero movies of last year, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's Far From Home!
Sorry, Far From Home. Sorry, I'm stupid.
I haven't seen it, and I really want to until an individual, just spoiled it without fucking care on Facebook. And I'm not gonna say his individual's name, but he not only spoiled the movie, but after I straight up called him out because I was so pissed off at him for doing that, without any warning, nothing at all. And then his fucking lackeys come in, and it's like, calling me a piece of shit because I got spoiled. I mean, whatever, sure, whatever.
Yeah, it's okay.
So all that alone, not just spoiling, but his lackeys just killed all of my anticipation for seeing the movie. I know I shouldn't let that get to me, but I was just so fucking pissed off at him, and it just killed my anticipation of seeing the movie.
I see. As for what I've seen from a movie, I think it works not only as a great Spider-Man sequel, but also as a great successor to Endgame. Seeing how Spider-Man has to react to has to evolve in the light of the events of Endgame. And I thought that Jake Gyllenhaal made a pretty awesome villain, and it had some pretty terrific action sequences as well.
That was the part that was spoiled. That was the part that was spoiled to me about the movie. None of the trailers revealed that Jake Gyllenhaal was a villain.
Well,
in fact, all the marketing kept him hidden.
Well,
then that fucker ruined it. That fucker ruined it.
Well, to be fair, I kind of saw a comment that Jake Gyllenhaal was gonna spoilers since I know the comics, but the way they did it, I didn't really see coming. So that's
the way they marketed it, they kept it really subtle. It seems, but I guess it's not subtle anymore thanks to fucking him. I'm still fucking pissed off about it.
Anyways, next Blu-ray I have here is a pretty underrated Disney classic, The Great Mouse Detective.
I have that movie on Blu-ray. It's one of Disney's best movies.
Yeah, it's a pretty terrific film. It has some pretty awesome performances from Vincent Price and Basil, and I found it to be a pretty good detective movie outside of the Sherlock Holmes parody thing. So yeah, that's Great Mouse Detective. And speaking of
Oh,
this,
props to Basil Rathbone for briefly reprising his role as Sherlock Holmes in the very beginning of the movie. I love that. I love that so much, Disney.
and speaking of Disney classics, I have here a Disney classic, and I got just in time for its 80th anniversary, Pinocchio.
I love Pinocchio. It okay. Here's the thing about Pinocchio. If you read the book, well, I've not read the book though, but I've done research on the book. The original book that the movie's based off. Wow, Disney took so much liberty from the novel. Because let's say, the book itself is not as, it's not as uh
Lighthearted.
it's not as lighthearted as the movie as they made the movie. Well, even though the movie itself had dark moments, but the book itself, oh my god, there were some sadistic moments in the book.
Yeah, that's right, heard too. I really liked how they made Pinocchio less of a kind of an asshole in the book and made him more of a regular kid. Pretty ironic since he's a puppet. And I really like the songs, like When You Wish Upon a Star, I Got No Strings, and had some pretty good animation as well. And let's just say I haven't seen other adaptations, but we can safely say this is the best adaptation of the original novel. I mean, what have we got? A 90s live action movie no one remembers? A movie where
Yeah, Jordan Pye. It's from the director of the very first live action Ninja Turtles movie. That's pretty funny.
what's also pretty
And
funny.
hmm?
Speaking of funny, we also had a 2002 version where a 49-year-old Roberto Benigni plays a preteen boy.
Okay, this is what to say. I don't think the Razzies should have given Pinocchio Worst Picture. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a pretty terrible movie, but the thing is, we got an awful dub version of, from what I've heard, a better version in Italy. There are so much worse movies you could have nominated. Like, there's not a single nomination for Master of Disguise, other than that cameo by Bo Derek. That should have been nominated over Pinocchio easily.
Yeah, so yeah, that's Disney's version, and it would be pretty interesting to see both Disney's remake and Guillermo del Toro's stop motion adaptation.
I don't know if we'll ever get Guillermo del Toro's version. Um, but I guess I am a little curious about the Disney live action version. Although, even though like it's gotten to a point where ever since Tim Burton's Dumbo, um, where they kind of take the Disney live action remakes are taking themselves for granted.
All right, then. Next Blu-ray I have here is a Blu-ray that Brady got in the first episode, and that is the original Miracle on 34th Street.
One of the best Christmas movies ever made.
Yeah, with some stellar writing and a terrific performance by Edmund Gwen. Yeah, what Brett said in the first episode pretty much applies here. So yeah, that's that movie. As for the rest of the Blu-rays, I have not seen them. I have seen one, but that's for a collection, which I'll get to later. All right, so next Blu-ray I have here is an overlooked Clint Eastwood movie. From what I've heard, is overlooked. The Mule.
That okay. That came out in 2018, and I think that Clint Eastwood movie is an improvement, a huge improvement over 1517 to Paris. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up from there. Um, I wouldn't say it's one of Clint Eastwood's best movies, but it's certainly an enjoyable movie. It has its moments. It has certain flaws I would take out. Like for instance, there's just like a random group of people that pulls over that Clint Eastwood has to stop and help, and they didn't really add much to the story. I would have taken them though. I would have taken that part out. Um, but the rest of the movie is like the rest of the movie is really fine for what it is. There was a moment that had me think. There was a moment. You see, if anyone has seen is watching the movie, has seen the movie, there's a scene where I'm just like,
Mm.
oh yes, make his day. If you probably know what scene I'm talking about. You probably know what scene I'm talking about if you've seen the movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll check it out when I get to it. So yeah, that's that movie. Next, next one I have here is a movie that didn't necessarily get the best reviews, but I've been interested in it ever since I've heard of it. Mostly because it's a directorial debut of Christopher Nolan's cinematographer, Transcendent.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard like nothing but terrible things about it.
Right, so there's that movie. Next movie I have here is The Edge of 17.
I have it. I have it. It's one of Haley Steinfeld's best performances, maybe her best performance. The movie feels like like a John Hughes movie, a good John Hughes movie back in his heyday in the '80s. That's what it felt like, and I love it. I love The Edge of 17. It was very funny and also very heartwarming.
Right. So next one I have here is a three-pack, and that is 300, Troy Director's Cut, and Alexander Revisited, the final cut.
You should have just only got 300. Only 300, man.
Oh, and I also got 300 Rise of an Empire for good measure.
I haven't seen Rise of an Empire. I've heard like terrible things about it.
Okay, next one I have here is say Monster Calls.
I haven't seen Monster Calls, but I've heard like great things about it. I've heard great things about Monster Calls.
All right, the last one I have here is a collection that I've only seen one of those movies, but I got it just to keep up on all the hype, and that is the Hayao Miyazaki collection.
Which one is it? What do they contain?
They contain Lupin the Third, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, the only one I've seen, and The Wind Rises.
How much did that collection cost?
It costs like $75 including tax on eBay.
Oh my god! Wow, $75. Wow.
Yeah, but I bet it's going to be all worth it, but I'll have to see for myself. So yeah, that's all for my Blu-rays. Now let's go to the Oscars, and let me tell you, they are much better than the nominations that they've given them because they've gotten some pretty good picks. All right, so let's
Doesn't
begin.
change, doesn't change the fact that this is their lowest rating in history.
Yeah,
Oh. And yeah, in my last Q&A video, I got it right. I predicted it was going to be 23 million, but that was just a guess. And I was right.
yeah,
I was right.
yeah, pretty funny.
Oh.
Anyways, let's get this started. For best visual effects, I wished Avengers Endgame was going to get it, and I predicted Irishman was going to get it, but no, it went to 1917.
I haven't seen 1917, but I'm like, how is that, like, a special effects wise, better than Endgame? What? Everything about Endgame. Are they just trying to be like like of course they have some sort of bias towards Marvel. That's what they have. They have bias towards Marvel, and they only want to go for movies that appeal to them.
Yeah, As for best film editing, we had Ford versus Ferrari.
I predicted that. I predicted that. I haven't seen it, but I predicted that because everyone's talking about how great the editing is in that movie. Even though my pick was The Irishman because it felt like 3 hours going by fast.
Yeah, me too. As for best costume design, Little Women.
I predicted it was going to go to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I guess there was a lot more to the costumes in Little Women than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Ugh. Should have done
Yeah,
research
they
on that one.
yeah they really like to give best costume design to period piece movies.
Oh, they really do. Yeah, they love those movies.
As for best makeup and hairstyling, it went to Bombshell.
I thought I was going to go to Joker. I haven't seen Bombshell. It's not on my radar.
As for best cinematography, Roger Deakins won his second Academy Award in a decade with 1917.
I predicted that. Yes, I predicted it was going to win. I still haven't seen 1917. I feel like I'm missing out, and I really want to see it.
Yeah, go see it when you get the chance. As for best production design, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I predicted that, and rightfully so.
As for best sound mixing, 1917.
I predicted that.
Best sound editing, Ford versus Ferrari.
I got that wrong. I thought I was going to go to 1917.
Yeah, yeah, since they really like to give war movies the sound categories. As for Best Original Song, Elton John won his second Oscar with I'm Gonna Love Me Again.
I predicted that, and he rightfully deserves that win. I am so happy for that.
All right, speaking of deserved wins, original score went to Joker.
Yes, I am so happy for that. Hildur, I'm not going to pronounce her last name. But I said everything that needs to be said about Joker in my Blu-ray segment.
All right, best short films, I don't care. Best documentary, I don't care. Best and international feature film was pretty much the most gimme of the night. Parasite.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure everyone predicted that.
Best animated feature film went to Toy Story 4.
Yes, I am so happy when I predicted that. People were speculating that Klaus is going to win, but I was like, no, I still think it's going to go for Toy Story 4. And yes, so happy. I haven't seen Klaus though. I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it too. As for best adapted screenplay, Taika Waititi won for Jojo Rabbit.
I predicted Taika Waititi was going to win. I still haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, but I heard it was pretty funny.
Yeah, same here. Original screenplay went to Parasite.
I predicted that too. Um, man, Bong Joon-ho is on a roll this year.
Yeah, he really is. Best supporting actress went to Laura Dern in Marriage Story.
I predicted that, and I think she really deserved it. Well, I guess she deserved because it's the only of the nominees I've seen.
All right, Best Supporting Actor went to Brad Pitt's second Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I predicted he was going to win, and I was right. Even though I wanted Joe Pesci to win. Well, actually, I was hoping Joe Pesci would even show up at the ceremony, but no, of course not, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, I am not mad at all. I think Brad Pitt really deserved that Oscar. He's like, for me, he was like the most laid back actor throughout the whole movie. And I guess that really works to the movie's advantage, and that's a really understandable reason why Brad Pitt won. And I'm so glad he won.
Right. As for Best Actress, Renee Zellweger won her second Oscar for as playing Judy Garland.
I predicted it was going to win, even though I have not seen Judy. I have not. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, but my a real winner wasn't even nominated. Where's Lupita Nyong'o?
Yeah, I totally forgot to mention her when we were talking about the nominations. Where's Lupita Nyong'o? Also, fun fact: Renee Zellweger is the only second person to win an Oscar for playing an Oscar winner herself after Kate Blanchett in The Aviator.
Right.
Best act, Best actor is the highlight of the night for me. Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, there is no one else, even though Adam Sandler was a close second, but fuck you, Oscars. Um, I said everything that you said about Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix was able to bring new light to the character of the Joker um, without trying to be like Heath Ledger, without trying to be like Jack Nicholson, without trying to be Cesar Romero, no one wants to be like Jared Leto's Joker. He was able to bring his own unique take on the character to the point where Joker's like the Breaking Bad of comic movies, where you don't want to see this guy turn evil, but once he does, he stays that way, and there's no turning back.
Yeah, Brett pretty much said everything that needed to be said. Now, as for best director, this
I
was the
predicted. I think 90% of us predicted it was going to go to Sam Mendes.
yeah, this was the probably the biggest
With
shock of the night. Bong Joon
with
Ho for Parasite.
Yeah, I will give the Oscars credit. They rarely surprise me. They rarely surprise me. Um, but man, it's a shame really because this would have been the 20-year anniversary of Sam Mendes' first Oscar.
Yeah. And as for best picture, went to Parasite.
I predicted it was going to go to Parasite. A lot of people predicted 1917, but I predicted Parasite was going to be the upset. Um, and so I was right. Even though I have not seen Parasites, I'm like one of the 5 people left who hasn't seen Parasite, and I feel like I might be missing out.
Right. So that's it for the Oscars. So which one do you want to do first? The top 10 films of 2019 or Why Be Going Raspberry? So a complete joke.
Go with the Razzies, yeah.
All right. The 40th Going Raspberry Awards. You know, there was a time where the Going Raspberries was this fun parody of the Oscars, but now it just became just as bad, if not worse, than the Oscars.
Huh.
All right, let's get this over with. The Razzie Redeemer Award. That's the award goes to the person who redeemed themselves the most after being nominated at the Razzies. So
Boy.
they
there's
were,
there's one there's one I think that's a clear winner here.
yeah, we'll get to him. Jennifer Lopez in Hustlers. Eddie
I
Murphy,
haven't seen Hustlers.
Eddie Murphy in Dolomite is My Name.
I haven't seen that, so boy.
Keanu Reeves in both John Wick 3 and Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I could see that.
Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, the clear winner.
He's gonna win this one.
And I don't know, Will Smith in Aladdin.
Hmm. Say but then they're gonna take away. Even though Adam Sandler's gonna win this one, they'll probably take it away faster, considering he's gonna do 4 more movies for Netflix. I mean, yeah, he made a bold statement. He made a bold statement, and he is not holding back on that at all. He said that, he said if he doesn't win the Oscar for Uncut Gems, he's going to continue doing bad movies on purpose. And well, he wasn't even nominated, which really fucking upsets me. So, oh boy.
Yeah, Honestly, I'm kind of intrigued by what type of bad movie he's gonna make. I mean, if Jack and Jill wasn't bad on purpose, I'm kind of interested to see what bad on purpose looks like.
Oh no, no, no! Even Adam Sandler, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are bad on purpose because even Adam Sandler admits that nearly every movie he does is just an excuse for him to go on vacation.
Yeah, true that. As for worst screenplay, we have Cats, based on the musical,
I haven't seen it.
The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
I haven't seen it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say this right now. The only other nominees I've seen is Neil Marshall's Hellboy.
That's up next on the screenplay list.
Which, yeah, it was a fucking awful script.
Medea Family Funeral, which I guess is going to be the same thing as the last few Medea movies, and Rambo: Last Blood, which I heard wasn't actually too bad, especially compared to other movies. As for worst, as for worst prequel, remake, rip-off, or sequel, we have Dark Phoenix, which I actually consider to be underrated, in spite of what the critics think. Godzilla King of the Monsters. Okay, that wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty fun. We have Hellboy,
That
Amadeus,
better win.
Amadeus Family Funeral, and Rambo: Last Blood.
I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, like, where's John Favreau's Lion King?
As for worst screen combo, we have any two half feline, half human hairballs, Cats.
I am so sick. I am so sick of how they're not taking this category seriously. They do this every single year, and they think that they think they're being funny. They're not. If anything, their jokes are kind of worse than the movies that they nominate,
Yeah.
and half the comedies they nominate.
Yeah, there's also Jason Derulo and his CGI neutered bulge in Cats.
What the hell?
Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry or Tyler Perry, Medea Family Funeral. Are they okay? Are they seriously taking this category seriously anymore?
Well, no, no. I've never seen them take this category seriously.
We also have Sylvester Stallone in his impotent raids, and John Travolta and any screenplay he accepts.
What the hell?
Yeah, why can't it just be two actors stuck with each other, or the entire cast of a movie? This category makes no sense. anyways, as, anyways, as for worst supporting actress, we have Jessica Chastain in Dark Phoenix. Even though I didn't hate her in the movie, I can see why people may dislike her. Cassie Davis in the Medea Family Funeral. Judi Dench in Cats. I've heard that she wasn't half bad in Cats, so why nominate her? Vanessa.
People made memes about Judi Dench. I think that says something.
Vanessa Pineda in Rambo: Last Blood, and Rebel Wilson in Cats. As for worst supporting actor, we have James Corden in Cats, Tyler Perry in A Medea Family Funeral, Tyler Perry in A Medea Family Funeral again, Seth Rogen in Zeroville, and Bruce Willis in Glass? Come on! I know that Glass was pretty panned by critics, but the performances weren't the things that were panned. It was more the screenplay and the ending that were kind of panned, and even
I
I
have
and
I
even
haven't
I
seen
have.
that.
Honestly, I kind of find Glass to be underrated, and I really like the ending for what it was. As for worst actress, we have Hilary Duff in The Haunting of Sharon Tate, Anne Hathaway in Serenity, Francesca Hayward in not a good way to start your film career in Cats, Tyler Perry in Drag and the Medea Family Funeral, and Rebel Wilson in The Hustle, which is the only nomination that movie got.
I
Seriously.
haven't seen it. I haven't seen The Hustle.
As for worst actor, we have James Franco in Zeroville, David Harbour as Hellboy.
Okay, I was gonna say this. David Harbour as Hellboy, he was not bad as Hellboy. It's all the shit that surrounds him so much.
We also have Matthew McConaughey in Serenity, Sylvester Stallone in Last Blood, and John Travolta in both The Fanatic and Trading Paint. Let me just tell you something. I saw The Fanatic, and let me tell you, it's this generation's The Room.
I haven't seen The Fanatic, and I think I'm missing out.
All right, I know that I'm missing a specific category, but I'm saving that for last. As for worst director, we have Fred Durst in The Fanatic,
Limp Bizkit as a filmmaker. That alone is pretty funny.
James Franco in Zeroville, First Disaster Artist, Now This.
James Franco, uh, in terms of his directorial filmography, The Disaster Artist is his only known movie. I looked up a lot. He directed a lot of movies. He directs he releases 3 or 4 movies a year, and all of them get shoved under the rug. But only The Disaster Artist. The Disaster Artist is the only movie that ever gets attention, but mainly because it was distributed by A24, and it was written by some of the best romance writers working today. That's the only reason why that James Franco movie got attention.
And also,
directing wise, all of his movies, it seems like all of his movies are whatever thing. Here's a James Franco movie. Okay, it's gone now. Here's a James Franco movie. That's gone. Here's a James Franco movie. That's gone. That's what's It's strange to me.
anyways, we have Adrian Grunberg for Rambo Last Blood, Tom Hooper for Cass, first Sir Kane Speech from winning the Oscar for Kane Speech, and now this.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that Oscar in the first place.
Yeah, so it went to Christopher Nolan or David Fincher.
David Fincher.
And the last nominee here is Neil Marshall for Hellboy.
And that's where it stops for Hellboy nominations.
Yeah. As for Worst Picture, we have Cats, we have The Fanatic, we have The Haunting of Sharon Tate, we have A Medea Family Funeral, and Rambo Last Blood.
No Hellboy? No Hellboy?
Yeah, no Jack Seed.
So many nominations, but not Best Picture. I mean, Worst Picture. No, not Best Picture. No, that was.
Yeah, no After, no Unplanned, no Jack Seed. They just nominate the popular films over the more infamous ones. That's what they do every single year.
Oh, not just that. They like to nominate movies that kind of go against their political agenda, like the Hillary Clinton documentary that I don't even know what the fuck it is, and why is that nominated over The Choice? And why did George Bush win Worst Actor for Fahrenheit 9/11 when it's a documentary and it's stock footage?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And now,
yeah, because it's impossible to take these guys seriously. If they're not taking themselves seriously, why should I?
And speaking of not taking them seriously, I've saved the worst for last. Worst reckless regard for human life and public property.
This is a category that shouldn't even exist.
We have Dreaded House Concrete, The Haunting of Sharon Tate, Hellboy, Rambo Last Blood, and fucking Joker.
Is it what is what is this like? Is Joker get that kind of nomination as a reference to the fact of all the controversy that Joker's getting? What in the hell is this?
The minute they had the mere meant idea of nominating this masterpiece for a Razzie, I was like, that's it. I am officially done with the Razzies. I can't really take them seriously anymore. I mean, I know that. Yes, I know that Joker doesn't have the highest Rotten Tomato score at a 68%, but the critics
Oh
who
no,
like,
it dropped massively because they want to start controversy.
but yeah, the critics who liked it really, really liked it, and I it got 11 Oscar nominations, and like I've mentioned before, 2 wins, including one for Joaquin. So, what are the Oscars trying to say? What are they trying to bullshit
That is,
us?
um. Well, no. There are plenty of movies that got Oscar nominations. Also get Razzie nominations too.
Yeah, but it's mainly for the technical awards that us. Yeah, but mostly they're nominated for Oscars for technical aspects, like the Transformers movies, like Pearl Harbor. But
Well,
this is Best
well,
Picture.
well, there was a Best Director nominee. There was a Best Director nominated movie that also got a Worst Supporting Actor nomination. Last Temptation of Christ.
And also The Godfather 3.
Well, mainly for Sofia Coppola. I mean, oh man,
And Wall Street.
yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty much the final nail in the coffin for me. I'm done with the Razzies. Now, anyways, let's end this show on a high note. The our top 10 favorite movies of 2019. So, do you want to start?
All right, my number 10 is a real heartbreaking, like emotional movie, and that is Marriage Story. It is for me this generation's Kramer versus Kramer. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson give some of their best performances. The kid is also really good, and Laura Dern is the best performance of the movie. She is funny. She is over the top. Well, not over the top though, but she has funny moments. Um, and the movie definitely shows like two sides really well to make sure, oh, they want to side on Adam Driver, and they also want to side on Scarlett Johansson, and both of them, both of them have interesting sides to their stories.
All
That's my
right.
number 10. If you want to know what Baumbach's best, my favorite is still While We're Young, but this is definitely one of his best movies.
All right. As for my number 10 is my favorite animated film of the year, and that is How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World.
Really?
I found that this was an emotional roller coaster of a finale. Not to say it's the best finale of the year, we'll get to it later, but man, I mean, since the first movie, we really got attached to the connection between Hiccup and Toothless, and seeing that spoiler alert, that seeing that they had to part ways after what they've been through. Oh boy, what a if you didn't shed a tear at that, I don't know if you're even human. So yeah, that's my number 10.
All right, my number 9 is goes to the best Christmas movies in years, and yes, it's a Christmas movie, even though I don't know why it's released in April. Then again, Die Hard was released in July, and Lethal Weapon was released in March. Anyways, my number 9 is Shazam.
Ironically, that's my number 11 honorables.
Honorable, huh? Shazam is one of DC's best movies. So far, their best week. No, I'm not. I don't know if I put the other, but this is supposed to be that part of the so-called extended universe. Even though I think that's done now. Zachary Levi was born to play Shazam. I don't know nothing about the comics though, but this seems like a role that was meant for Zachary Levi. He is so fun. Shazam is one of the funniest comic movies since Guardians of the Galaxy and The Mask. It feels like DC's version of Kick-Ass. It gives this really low budget, lighthearted feel. And David F. Sandberg, even though this is sort of different from his usual take, he still brings some horror elements from his other movies into this, and it does not feel out of place. And I really like Mark Strong as the villain. He's kind of like Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy, except I actually like him, and he's actually funny. And I love his relationship with the families and the kids. It is just one of the funniest comic movies ever. I love Shazam. It's my number 9.
All right, as for my number 9, hey, Bohemian Rhapsody. This movie did what you did, and it did a million times better. Rocket Man.
Mm-hmm.
While Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't awful per se, I found it to be pretty bland. It just felt like they just read the Wikipedia article and made a movie around it, and I didn't really get too deep into Freddie Mercury's personal life, which made it really hard to sympathize with him for me. Rocket Man, on the other hand, it just did it a million times better. I mean, Taron Egerton is Elton John, and I don't understand why he didn't get nominated at the Oscars while Rami Malek won the Oscars. And the musical performances, they're some of the best of the decade. But yeah, it's extremely hypocritical that they gave Bohemian Rhapsody such a blowjob, yet Rocket Man only got one Oscar. Yeah, I don't really understand it. So my number 9 is Rocket Man.
My number 8 goes to a movie that was completely shut out at the Oscars, especially for Best Actor. And it's nice to see him doing great drama again. And I'll have to wait another 5 or 6 years to do more dramas, I suppose. My number 8 is Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers.
It's on my list. It's on my list higher as well, but I'll get to my feelings towards it later.
I have not seen Good Time. I've heard terrific things about it, but I really love what the Safdie brothers did here with this movie. So where everyone is talking amongst each other. The sound design really captures the intensity of this movie, and Adam Sandler gives his best performance since Punch Drunk Love, and I'm happy that he He won his independent award while giving like a quote unquote shout out to the Academy. And I hope to see him do more dramas. And one day, maybe he will be an Oscar nominee if, you know, the Academy finally drops their bias towards Adam Sandler, which they admitted they were biased towards Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I just want him to continue more dramas. I don't know why he made a deal with Netflix to do 4 more movies. But yeah, Uncut Gems is my number 8.
My number 8 is James Mangold's latest, Ford versus Ferrari. With some terrific performances, stellar direction, great racing sequences, it really is a fun time at the movies. And yeah, it was really nice to see it get nominated at the Oscars, while even though Christian Bale wasn't really mentioned. But yeah, I'd nominate other actors for him, but that's another story. Yeah, that's Ford versus Ferrari, number 8.
My number 7 is 2 for 2 for this man. Jordan Peele's Us.
These are my honorables.
Oh boy. Lupita Nyong'o gives probably the best performance I've ever seen from her. I haven't seen a double performance this great since Nicolas Cage in Adaptation. Like Get Out, this is a movie that really blends horror and comedy really well without making one feel out of place. And the twist was actually great. It made a lot of sense. It wasn't just a twist in a horror movie just for the sake of having a twist in a horror movie. It actually made so much sense. In fact, I watched the movie the second time in theaters, mainly just to put the pieces together of how everything was building up to that twist. And Jordan Peele is a genius, and I cannot wait to see what he does next.
Yeah. But he said I can't really add on to it.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you pretty much said everything that needed to be said about us.
Okay. Oh, you, okay.
As for my number 7 is Parasite. I pretty much said everything earlier in this episode, so I'll just cut to Brett's number 6.
My number 6 is Quentin Tarantino done it again. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I still have yet to see it or any Tarantino movie. I know, I'm missing out.
Oh, you. But anyway, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is definitely one of Quentin Tarantino's best. The problem I still have is, Margot Robbie and Sharon Tate feels incredibly underdeveloped. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is funny, it's well paced. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt have excellent chemistry together. Brad Pitt is the best part of the movie. And the climax. Oh my God. When I was in the theater, I'm not going to spoil the climax, but let's say everyone was cheering loudly at the climax. It is so great. I really love it. It's one of Tarantino's best. And that's why it's my number 6. And I'm so sad that after this, it's gonna his 10th movie, his next movie is gonna be his last. And I hope he goes out, with a bang.
Yeah, I hope so too. As for my number 6 is Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler gives his hands down best performance in this movie, which is insane. A lot. Seen all the crappy dramas he's done, and the movie itself is pretty fun.
Crappy dramas.
Crappy comedies. I'm sorry, I'm stupid sometimes.
Well, there are some crappy dramas. Adam Sandler, Cobbler, Men, Women, and Children.
And the movie itself is pretty fun and intense, with a pretty fun third act, which I'm not going to spoil it, but man, you're going to be wowed by it. So yeah, Number 6, Uncut Gems.
All right, my number 5. I'm just gonna say about my number 5. It's gonna be a long, long time for me to forget about this movie. Rocket Man. Rocket Man is not your typical music biopic. It tells everything like an R-rated Disney musical, and I absolutely love every single moment of this movie. Everything explores Elton John's life in a fresh, new way instead of saying this is happening in Elton John's life. He wrote this song. This is what happened in his life, and he wrote this song. No, it tells everything in such a unique way, and I love Dexter Fletcher for this. He tells a biopic like this in ways that we've never seen before, and I absolutely love him for that. And Taron Egerton should have been nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, he really should have.
I'm going to say this, even though Leonardo DiCaprio was great once upon a time in Hollywood, I don't know. No, I don't think he should have been nominated over Taron Egerton or Adam Sandler.
And replace Jonathan Pryce with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, and it'll be a fine list of nominees.
My number 5 is a series that just gets better and better with each installment. John Wick Chapter 3.
Yeah.
The first movie was a pretty surprising comeback for Keanu Reeves, and just to see the series get better and better with each installment is just bloody amazing. But it's probably Keanu's best performance, and some spectacular action sequences. I even say up there with Mad Max Fury Road.
The action in John Wick Chapter 3 is absolutely breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying, right?
I know.
Huh?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
As for your number 4.
Oh, right. My number 4. My number 4 goes to a terrific conclusion to the first 3 phases. Avengers Endgame.
I'll get
Avengers
to it later.
Endgame. Avengers Endgame is an excellent conclusion to what we've been going through for the past 11 years. And it took so many risks. And it ended a couple of characters' moments in such ways I could never ask for. Robert Downey Jr. gives his best performance as Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Chris Evans gives his best performance as Captain America. And it's so nice to see, it's a movie that's like over 3 hours. Yeah, it's so well, it just breezes by, but it never feels rushed.
Yeah.
And that's why I absolutely love about Avengers Endgame. It's a real emotional ride. Yeah, Scorsese, emotional. Characters going through emotional moments. I love you. You're my favorite director of all time, but are you okay there, man? Are you okay? Oh, yeah, that's my number 4.
It's funny that you mentioned Scorsese because my number 4 is The Irishman. The Irishman is another 3-hour movie that goes by so quickly, and it has some pretty great performances as well. I mean, you got Robert De Niro, you got Al Pacino, you have Joe Pesci. All give terrific performances in their respective roles. And the presentation, oh boy. What I can say is it's Godfather Part 2 meets Goodfellas. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So number 4, The Irishman.
All right, my number three. Even though, objectively speaking, Avengers Endgame is a better comic movie, this one for me has so much replay value, and that is Joker. What can I say about Joker except it made me smile and put on a happy face? Really interesting way to describe this movie for a movie like this. But yeah, I said everything that needs to be said about Joker today, and I think I've said enough. I love it so much. It's my number three.
All right, my number three is a movie that all I can say is Birdman meets Dunkirk, 1917.
I really need to see it.
Yeah, you really need to, man. It's a pretty intense war thriller. And though I don't know if I'd give it a best original screenplay nomination, even though it's mostly a directing film. I'd personally replace that with Uncut Gems. But other than that, though, 1917 is an experience. Sam Mendes, Roger Deakins, you did it again. So yeah, my number three is 1917.
Again, I think the only time those two ever worked together was Revolutionary Road. Oh yeah, and Skyfall. And Skyfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. My number two goes to the best anime movie of the year, and I just love this franchise so much. Toy Story 4.
That
It's my
high,
biggest
huh?
surprise of the year. It's my biggest surprise of the year. When I saw the teaser to Toy Story 4, I thought to myself, it looks fine, but this is Toy Story. It should look more than just fine. Um, because Toy Story 3, like, pretty much ended the series on a high note, made me cry, and it's my favorite anime movie of all time. When I saw Toy Story 4, I was like, Pixar, you really pulled the rug from underneath me because this was a brilliant sequel. This was not just like, just a cash grab just for the sake of continuing the Toy Story saga because Toy Story is a hugely popular franchise. If this is a conclusion to Toy Story 4, I am not against it at all, even though Toy Story 3 is still my favorite of the franchise. But Toy Story 4 definitely adds new layers to it. It did not just bring back Bo Peep just because, just for Woody to get with Bo Peep again. No, it had reasons for bringing back Bo Peep, and it felt right for the movie. And it really did not feel like an unnecessary sequel at all in the slightest, even after watching it. And I love Keanu Reeves as Duke Kaboom. He is so funny. And, just like with the third movie, this movie actually made me cry. And I applaud Toy Story for that. And it's why it's my favorite animated. It's no longer my favorite animated trilogy. It's my favorite animated franchise of all time. Because now, How to Train a Dragon is my favorite animated trilogy.
Yeah. I have I have this to say. While Toy Story 4 is still a terrific movie, it is my least favorite of the saga, mainly for two reasons. First of all, it did have some familiar beats from the previous movies, like Woody being overshelled in favor of a new toy.
Mm.
That and I felt like the climax was a little long, just a tick long, but that didn't really stop me from enjoying the being really emotionally grabbed by the ending, though. I mean, boy, if if you thought How to Train Your Dragon 3 was heartbreaking, man, you have not seen anything yet. So yeah, his number three is Toy Story 4. My number two
Number
is
two. My number two. That's my number two.
his number two. I'm sorry. My number two is Joker. We pretty much said everything that needed to be said. So I'll just move on to his number one.
My number one. He's my favorite director of all time. You maybe think I'm being biased about him. Well, actually, I'm not, considering that I called him out multiple times on his stance against Marvel for how misinformed he is. So you can say I'm biased, but at the same time, I'm not. My number one is The Irishman. Martin Scorsese, despite that horse shit you said, he certainly knows how to make a movie. He certainly knows how to make 3 hours go by fast. I mean, look at Wolf of Wall Street, look at Casino. Um, Robert De Niro gives one of his best performances I've seen in years. It's nice. It was so great to see him and Scorsese working together again. It's nice to see Al Pacino in a Scorsese movie for the first time ever. And again, if you go back to 2006, it was the first time ever Jack Nicholson has been in a Scorsese movie. And Joe Pesci, man, it is so good to see you again. It is so good to see. I hope he does more movies. I hope he does more movies. Or maybe this is like a okay, fine. I'll come out of retirement, quote unquote. That's this movie, and then I'm going back. That's it. It's a movie that is like 3 hours long. It goes by extremely fast. It's not really like your typical gangster movie. It's a movie that especially like in the third act, it summarizes everything about what the movie is, and the ending. It really made me cry. It's the first ever Scorsese movie to ever make me cry, and I love it for that. And that's why The Irishman is my favorite movie of the year. And it's actually really funny, too.
My number one, Scorsese, what were you thinking? Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is a movie that should not have worked. I mean, 22 movies, all building up to this massive conclusion. Just hearing it, you'd think it would be a total mess, but no, it was actually really fun. And like Brett said, some of the actors gave their best performances as their respective characters. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and that third act, man. Oh boy! And I can't. And I'm looking forward to see what they have for Phase 4. And so my number one, Avengers Endgame. So, anyways, that concludes another episode of the FilmBrony podcast. Brad, anything to say before we sign off?
Thank you so much for watching that episode. Stay tuned. In a few minutes, I'm going to be recording my 6th episode of my weekly Q&A. And in a few days, I'll be doing a live stream of one of my favorite games of all time, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, in beautiful HD quality. That's right, I got the Reignited Trilogy on PS4, bitches, hell yes, and I cannot wait to show it to you guys.
Right. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you whenever. Bye.